Yo, what's poppin', friends? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Of course, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on la situation. More importantly, as always, asking for yours, the community. Today, we're discussing a little update from Football Insider, about what's going on in Chelsea's expectations with the main shirt sponsor. Remember that. In the wake of David Ornstein reiterating in his Q&A, Chelsea are looking at Benjamin Sesko, I want to express my fears about that. I think he is a good striker and would make Chelsea's squad better, but he'll cost a lot of money, and we're going to look at some of his stats on Understat. But I want to talk about wingers as well. Of course, Chelsea got an excellent 3-0 away win in Europe last night, with some positive winger stories in all young Tyreek George, dare I say Jadon Sancho, and Noni Madueke, who's now got the most highest productive season of his professional senior career. So that's good. But yeah, what do we do? What do we do with the winger situation? Do we throw the bag? And also 𝐒𝐓𝐑𝐈𝐊𝐄𝐑, we need to remember this kid again was creating highlights on social media for him playing yesterday. Like, he is good to go, man. Do you know what I mean? So lots to get into as per usual here on the channel. So yeah, welcome on in. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for your continued support. We've hit over 192,000 subscribers, which is an incredible achievement, I think. So thank you to all of you guys who have become part of the community here on Football Therapy. Of course, everyone is welcome, so you why not consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. A little reminder as well that I do upload daily content on Football Yannick, the sister channel, the Strasbourg to this main channel, but it's non-Chelsea content. I've been following all the other games and big stories, and I've been reacting to the Andre Onana head loss United fan stuff, so go check that out. I think there's a link in the description saved now for the second channel, so you can just click, or just Football Yannick on the YouTube. Alright, mate, so we are going to start with this article on Football Insider. It says in exclusive, it's just basically talking about the situation with what's going on with the sponsor. So I'm going to just, mosey on down. Chelsea are well placed to agree a £50 million deal. Now, I find this interesting. I'll tell you why in just a second. Chelsea are well placed to agree a lucrative front of shirt sponsorship deal. Should, of course, we qualify for the Champions League, which is the target this season. The Premier League side have played without a primary shirt sponsor throughout the current campaign after the Infinite Athlete deal expired, which, by the way, is mental. It's fun, like, buying the shirts without the sponsor on. I think I did it last season before we got Infinite Athlete on. I don't particularly like the shirts this season, but like, the novelty's worn off now. Like, let's have a sponsor now. Do you know what I mean? We got the £40 million a year deal for Infinite Athlete, which was approved by the fair market value, whatever it wants. But Chelsea wanted to agree a £50 million deal for this current season past. They were forced to lower the asking price as prices the season went on. Stamford Bridge Chiefs have now turned their attention to a shirt deal for next season, with Todd Klein spearheading their current commercial operations following his arrival from Tottenham. Sources have told Football Insider Chelsea are in a strong position to qualify for a £50 million deal. We also turned down a lucrative shirt deal from a gambling company last summer, which is great. Stake. That will become against the rules soon. For as a main front of shirt sponsor, you won't be able to have a gambling sponsor soon. So we could have, in theory, taken it short term. I'm very happy, personally, Chelsea didn't. I don't like betting sponsors, at least as your main sponsor, so I'm very pleased my club didn't agree to that. I think a lot of Chelsea fan groups and stuff were pleased as well. Yeah, so there's a few things to question here. Firstly, I remember listening to Liam Twomey of the Athletic speak about how Chelsea have decided to sort of go without a sponsor this season because of how much money they are poised to make in the Club World Cup, which is of course a unique situation. If you take it seriously, you can get 100 million, which is mental. So Chelsea will be looking to maybe that 50 million they didn't get through a shirt sponsor, they'll be looking to make that up in the Club World Cup. Plus there's benefits you can win a trophy. It's good for like showcasing your talent in North America. It's brand awareness, yada yada yada. Try and get more Chelsea fans globally, all that jazz. By the way, guys, if I sniff or clear my throat, I live in the friggin' Shire, right, here in the kingdom, and I'm reliably informed by the Met Office that the pollen today is, quote, very high. So inside, everything is clogged up in my head, so I apologise for that. What I find interesting here is, with inflation, with how money and revenue and everything's going up, and should we qualify for the Champions League, I thought we'd go for a £60 million deal, because that's what we had with 3. Before we won the last Champions League, that was £60 million a year after Yokohama Tires. So why I would go for less now seems against the more, especially like if you're back in the Champions League. It just bakes my noodle, as the Oracle said in The Matrix, which is a little bit interesting, but yeah, I'm very keen for us to just get this over the line now, sign it. It's just another negative story to go away, and we can, just feel a little bit more security with Chelsea, with less scrutiny on us. Worry more about the football for once, and just, as time goes on, this club needs to heal from this, the sanctions, the ownership change, the squad managers, complete overhaul of playing staff, medical staff, management, coaching staff, sporting directors who, of course, have been scrutinised heavily. We just need the waters to settle a little bit, and the team can just get better and start winning trophies again, because that's what all Chelsea fans want. We don't want to be point scoring off other fan bases for winning the transfer market, for winning the loophole financial market. It's just, I find it interesting as a subject, so I listen to a lot of football finance stuff, but I'm not, great. We're not great. Chelsea fans aren't breaching rules, so we're not going to get points deduction. Good. Well done. Now, football, winning, team gelling, playing for the badge. This is very much on the table now. The table should only consist of this now. You've navigated your financial stuff. Let's see some Chelsea. Let's see Reece James lifting a trophy as a captain. Let's see Esteban and, Palmer cooking together. All that stuff. That's what we want. All right, mate. Let's talk about strikers, then wingers, because that is the sexy stuff. So David Ornstein did a Q&A on The Athletic talking about, who wants who. He mentioned Dean Howson and Chelsea being linked again, and he mentioned Benjamin Sesko. Of course, Arsenal and Chelsea have done a lot of looking at Benjamin Sesko, the RB Leipzig centre-forward, who's 21 years old, a year or two younger than Nico, but, he's been in the spotlight for a good couple of seasons. Last season he played 31 games, and he's played all the games here, so 2 full seasons as a sort of heavily analysed centre forward. I'm just looking at something quite positive now. So I'm gonna show you that, but first, look at this understat. So this is a comparison with our current first choice striker Nico Jackson for this season. They played very similar minutes. Benjamin Sesko has played 2,031 minutes. It's basically a game, just over a game difference, and Nico Jackson's played 1,927. Of course, Nico was injured for a bit as well. Now, Benjamin Sesko only beats Jackson in goals ever so slightly, and XG build-up per 90. Again, it's negligible. And then Nico beats him for everything else, including expected goals per 90. Of course, we know Jackson's one of his biggest faults is he underperforms his expected goals, which is very frustrating, but it also indicates highlights and demonstrates how Jackson gets himself into goal scoring opportunities, which is a positive trait. Now, I had this prepared to show you to be like Jackson good, Sesko bad, but what I hadn't looked at until now is above, right at the top of the screen now, is actually his performance of expected goals. He's overperforming. If it's red, it's bad. If it's green, it's good. So, for example, let me just prepare this next thing. All right, so yes, I've got it ready now. As you can see, green for Benjamin Sesko, overperforming expected goals, overperforming expected assists. You go over to Nico Jackson, and let's take the 2 seasons at Chelsea. Of course, this was his last season at Villarreal when he actually went on a scoring run, and we bought him as a striker. But last season, he underperformed his XG by nearly 6 goals, and he's basically 4 goals already this season. An elite Chelsea striker should overperform their expected goals, yeah, like Haaland and Isaac and whoever. But to consistently underperform is frustrating. Like I said, it does demonstrate he's doing a lot of stuff right, getting into the right positions. So this is 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑. 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑's overperforming. So you put him in those positions, he tends to score, which is positive. Now, my position remains the same. I've always said it. I would rather a 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑 than a no 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑. I mean, again, to look at the moment in terms of his general performance chart, this blue is Nico Jackson making Chelsea. Blue is the colour making Chelsea play better. Now, I'm not suggesting 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑 wouldn't do that, and he would be definitely a good alternative option from Nico, and maybe that's enough. Maybe you get him, Esteval joins, Andre Santos joins, Georgi Petrovic comes back in goal. More time developing together, Lavia becomes fit, happily ever after. But yes, 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑 will cost a lot of money, apparently. I don't know why it will cost a lot of money, but it's a profiling thing. Apparently, he's got the streets. He's got the scouts and data analysts streets. They all want him. So, a little bit like Samu, a little bit like John Duran. He's like this conventional sort of number 9, and he's young. And they're obviously looking at him going, he's good, and he can get really good. So I'll be happy with him, but he's still out of the stated recent names, bottom of my list. I would have Victor Osimhen, and then I know I'm going to get pelted for this, but I might rather Liam Delap than Victor Gyökeres, only because if Gyökeres is going to cost loads and he's going to, be really high wages, actually maybe not. I don't know. It's tough. Let me know what you think. Like I just think Liam Delap for £30 million. And for a really high ceiling, rather than buying. How old is Gyökeres? Like, I know we need seniority, yeah. So should we sign him, I'd be very, very pleased. He's 26. He'll be 27 by the time next season starts. Victor Gyökeres. So he's really got to hit the ground running, really. And I know if you buy a striker for a lot of money, you want that anyway. But we've been stung before as Chelsea fans, hoping that. I don't know. I mean, Osimhen's at the top. Delap and Gyökeres there. I feel like Victor Gyökeres is going to go to Arsenal, get paid ridiculous loads of money, and we'll see what happens with him. And then 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑, but I don't want to be like, oh yeah, don't sign 𝐒𝐏𝐻𝐑. I know some fans aren't happy with the idea. I'm kind of okay with it, for the reasons we've looked at here in the video. But, I mean, we just need a centre forward. Mark Gu, I think, Chelsea fans believe in him. Shin Moaka is still only 17, man. I mean, he could have a Prem loan and then come in and be the guy for Chelsea. He doesn't need to worry. He's rated. But, I mean, we need a striker. We're playing in Nkunku. I mean, how much time... I know all loads of content creators and social media accounts have just been in despair over Christopher Nkunku. It's just not worth your energy, bro. He's going to go... all best of luck to him. It didn't work. I have a little bit of sympathy, but also, he's performing badly. His attitude hasn't always been great. It's one of those things like, see you later, mate. What could have been had we played a different system and a different way of playing. But this guy's our in the squad, second highest earner, and we're using him as a not good striker in the Conference League. Mental. So yeah, it's done. It's done. Let me know what you think about the striker situation. Let's keep this train moving. Alright, so I do want to speak about wingers, because yeah, yesterday, it was a story of wingers, wasn't it? I know Ty scored his goal playing it through the middle, but he's conventionally a winger, and he's just shown that he's kind of did the Ousmane Dembele, didn't he? Because he's looked good up top for Chelsea, and he's a teenager, Conference League, of course, caveat. But Ousmane Dembele, this amazing wide player, put down the middle, started scoring goals for PSG. Maybe he's the embryonic phase of Ousmane. I don't know, but regardless, a really useful player, Tyreek, that I really hope is part of both Achiambong and Tyreek George, a part of the Chelsea first team next season and relied on more. Hopefully the rest of the season in the Conference League will have a bigger data sample to the point where Maresca goes, yeah, they stay. I had previously said I wonder if Achiambong goes on loan. He's 18. But we will see. Many of you would have seen the way Maresca was waxing lyrical about him in his post-match press conference. I was in love with him tonight. He's done everything I need, all these positions. It's just nice to hear. It's positive for the young lad, but we've heard him say good things before, and then he's been in obscurity for weeks, so we'll see what happens. But I want to speak about wingers because it's tough. I want Tariq to be part of the squad. It's Noni Madueke. Like, I did an Instagram thing. Would you sell Noni Madueke for 50 million quid? We bought him for 29, so it would be a significant profit, like sale profit, and a huge book profit. But he's our highest scoring winger. He's got 10 league goals now and 4 assists in 28 games. So that's a goal or assist every other game, which actually, for a young winger, is a very strong return. I know it's Conference League inflation as well, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's still a young player, and he's at his career best. He's on a positive trajectory, Noni Madueke. Like, it's good, isn't it? 10 goals, 4 assists, 28 games. If you're getting a goal or assist consistently every other game, like, that is just like, yeah, he's one of our best players. Do you know what I mean? Like, if a striker scores a goal every other game, that's an elite return at the highest level. Because if you score a goal every other game in the Premier League, especially non-penalties, that's like nearly, 19 or 19, 20 non-penalty Premier League goals. Amazing. Elite, Great, especially if you're helping the team with hard work and you're not just stinking out the game standing in the box. So I think there's a conflict because Noni's attitude hasn't helped him at time, which is frustrating. But like, there is this idea of if Newcastle come in for him and they're like, yeah, we need to buy a right winger, we'll give you 50 million quid for Noni Madueke. Chelsea might be like, ooh, and Noni might be like, ooh, play in Europe, play at St James's Park, be the guy, be appreciated as this sort of guy. Sorry, the mailman just really aggressively put mail through my letterbox. Anyway, also, Tariq George, Noni, is he good? Do we like him? Is he staying? Of course, 𝐒𝐓𝑑𝐈𝐊𝐄𝐑 joining, absolute superstar. Again, like I said, more highlight reels. Chelsea aren't going to load him. Of course, there's this not fear, but like divisive situation where Kendrick Pies I know he's not winger, might go to Strasbourg, which would be great for them, by the way. If they finish in the Champions League, enjoy an 18-month loan of Santos being amazing, Georgi Petrovic being amazing. Granted, they come back to Chelsea, but they've been giving them like a great experience. But then they get Kendrick Pies and he absolutely balls out in the Champions League for them. I mean, I wonder if they'll start thinking, yeah, this Chelsea thing ain't so bad. Although, I've spoken at length about it on a recent video, that they are correct and right to generally criticise the whole situation. So, but yeah, winger, Tariq George good, Noni good, Kendrick Pies, 𝐒𝐓𝑑𝐈𝐊𝐿 coming in, and Sancho got 2 good assists yesterday. It was Warsaw in the Conference League, but there were good assists. It was good link up with Noni. What if Jadon Sancho to the rest of the season gets another couple of goals and 4 or 5 more assists in Europe and Prem? It's going to pose the question, this guy only cost 25 million quid. That is cheap, guys. That is cheap. Chelsea paid 25 million quid for like a 14-year-old from Peru. Do you know what I mean? So for a 24, 25-year-old who's delivering and is experienced and will happy to play both sides, be rotational, it does pose the question again. So it's very, very interesting to see where Jadon Sancho goes. For me, he's not in the definitely got to go camp of Raheem Sterling, Christopher Nkunku, and maybe 1 or 2 others, So yeah, defo. Guys, as always, I welcome your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on everything I've spoken about and all things Chelsea. So please do leave them down in the comment section below. Very interesting topics, I think, that we've covered today. And keep it locked for more daily content here on Football Therapy. Take care of yourselves. Peace.